All right, good evening, everyone. This is the May 7th, 2025 meeting of the Economic Development Council, and we'll get started by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll just go around the room and take attendance for who is here, and I think we have a quorum, so go start. Oscar.
Oscar Revelo, member.
Joanne Duffy, Planning and Economic Development Director.
Samantha Kearns, member.
Peter Georgiantis, Selectman's Rep.
And I'm Dick Bruno, Vice Chair. And welcome to our new member, Samantha. She just got sworn in, so thank you for being here. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of April 2nd. And I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes. I know I was not present, so I won't be voting on them, but
Motion to approve.
I got a motion to approve by Oscar. Any second?
I'll second them.
Okay, Samantha, second.
I was there for
No,
them.
yeah, but you can't, you weren't
Because
a
I was a
member at the
member.
time. So it's.
Take it back.
Yeah, take it back. So I don't know because we don't have a quorum of the people that were here.
Yeah,
I
right.
was here, so I can second.
But
Yes,
we don't have.
we don't have a quorum of the people, there's only 3 people that way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, you could have a quorum of the board, that's all you need.
But that's what he's saying.
Of the board now, you don't need a quorum of the
You have-
people who were
He
there.
has to abstain, she has to abstain, so there's only 3 people.
Right, but
And
the
that would be-
abstentions don't require, so the vote itself doesn't require a quorum if people abstain. That's fine, as long as you have people voting for it. I'm sure of this. He doesn't believe me.
I agree. No, I agree with that. From what I
Okay.
know of Robert's rules, I would agree with that.
I got 2 against 1, Peter, so
No, that's
I'm going,
fine,
I'm
no, if they
going,
want to approve it, if there's ever a
I'm
question.
going-
I don't see why there would ever be a
Alright,
question,
but
but
go ahead.
we wouldn't do that.
but I won't accept your second. I will accept this
I'll
second from you. Are there any discussions about those minutes or any changes that you'd like to see or make? Seeing no changes, then motion to accept the minutes of April 2nd, 2025 are accepted. So I see that, first of all, Chet Bowen is not here tonight, that's why I'm running the meeting. I did speak to Chet a little bit earlier, so there's a couple of points that he did want to make. One of the things, I wasn't here, I see old business, and there's nothing under old business, but I know last week you did have a, I think it was Bill Furlong from St. Anselm College, and I guess that was a good discussion for those that were here. I think it's a part of a discussion that should take place and continue. Hopefully we can have more discussions with St. Anselm because I think there's some property there that we would like to work towards maybe developing up in that area. So Chet did say that he was going to continue discussions with Bill, and hopefully he will come back here so the board can discuss further what might be done. We might be able to talk to that in a little bit because of what is on the new business agenda. The other thing that Chet said that he is trying to get to have Tim Redmond here from the sewer commission, so that we can talk to him with regard to some of the things that we've talked about in the past, so as far as getting sewer commission's position on where they are, what they might have lined up, what we can do to work with them in the future. So, okay, on to new business, and the first on the list is reappointments to the EDC by the select board. So my feeling is that that's already been done, right?
Yes, I was just reporting on it to say that the
Okay.
select board did vote and approve those appointments. So anyone who was appointed, Oscar and Samantha and Melanie
Melanie.
will need to get, well, you just got done, but we'll take care of the paperwork. We'll need to get sworn in, and if you want me to do it, I can do it after the meeting, and
Okay.
then just we'll get the paperwork for the next meeting, you can sign it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
And
I
you'll
know
be-
people are working during the day, it's hard to get here.
And he'll be in touch with the others that are not here?
Yes,
So
it's
that
just
we can make
Melanie.
sure for the next meeting, they are sworn in,
Yeah.
and ready to go. Next piece of business is something to do with the welcome to Goffstown sign. And Joanne, I'm gonna refer to you, because I'm not sure what this means.
So Chet told me that the sign itself, someone was in an accident and crashed into the sign. That's the sign when you're coming over the Bedford line into Goffstown.
on 114.
On the right-hand side. That sign was actually put there by the Economic Development Committee years ago. They had paid for it, and Sousa Signs, made it up and installed it. And it's been there for quite a while now. And unfortunately, someone hit it recently with their car. And so Adam Jacobs of DPW went out and took the sign and brought it over to Sousa Signs to have it repaired. And then he put in a claim through the finance department for insurance reimbursement. I'm not sure of the details of that,
Yeah.
but Chet wanted to give a shout out to Adam for taking care of that.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Somebody needs to be thanking, but there's also somebody, other than Adam, was involved, another,
Yeah, I don't know.
somebody from the DPW. He didn't have a name, but he thought
Yeah,
there
I
was
don't
somebody
know who
else
it
that was helping,
but
putting
anyway,
it back up.
Some member of the DPW department.
Okay, so, I mean, I guess officially from the board, we'd like to say thank you
Yeah.
to them. And-
Were they doing their job?
Yeah, they were.
Okay, I just,
Well, but I guess because it's not, it was put up,
it was paid for by,
but-
it was paid for by this committee.
this council, but,
With town money, so it's town property. And
Okay.
that's why we're able to turn it into our insurance company, who will in turn go after whoever hit it, but in the meantime, the insurance company reimburses us. So everybody's doing
What
what
they
they're
should have
supposed to
been
be
doing.
doing.
okay,
That's,
all right. Well,
Is that part of DPW's responsibility?
they're in charge of the signs, and just like they're in
Oh.
charge of, just
Yeah.
like they're in charge of,
yeah, once we paid for it and put it up, or town paid for it, I'm sorry,
Right.
I'll once, it's a part of the town property, so I guess that is part of their function. But I still think it was good that it's back up, and certainly it's a sign that we want to make sure that's in good order.
the
So,
whole stretch, somebody hits the sign. That means the whole stretch right there, they had to hit that sign.
I know.
It's a good thing they didn't demolish it, because it's only made out of wood.
Yeah. So, the next item on the agenda says walking bridge. Of course, this is the pedestrian bridge. I am, for those that don't know, I am the representative from this board on the pedestrian ad hoc bridge committee. And that committee's been working, actually, this is the second time around for this committee that has brought the pedestrian bridge proposal to the point where we applied for a TAP grant. And of course, Joanne's on the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission that gets all of these plans from towns within the Southern New Hampshire the Commission's area to pass them along or to get approval for them so that we can qualify for the grant. And it turns out that Goffstown was ranked top as
There were-
far as the number of points.
There were 3 applications. One was from Manchester, and they were looking at the area of, so, I forget the name of the park. If you go up Webster Street and turn left onto Hooksett Road, the park is on the left.
Livingston
Livingston Park. They wanted to do some work along the sidewalks and, just spruce up that area. And then the other one was Wyndham, the town of Wyndham. They wanted to extend a trail that they would lead into, I think it was Derry, the town of Derry.
Right.
And that came in third because they didn't have enough information. So they formed a subcommittee, and the subcommittee came back and recommended Goffstown as number one. David Pierce did a presentation along with Andy Catterat, did a presentation to the full commissioners, and then they voted, they took the committee's recommendation and they voted for Goffstown as number one, and so it goes on from there. Now we sent it up to the state with that recommendation.
Right. Are you both, are everybody familiar with?
No, I was gonna ask you, where is the walking, like, where's the proposed idea?
Matter of fact, I can pass this around. This is.
I was just gonna be like looking at the rail trail map to figure it
Yeah,
out.
Right
well,
here, it's
if
right
I
here,
may-
coming across the bridge right over here.
By St. Lawrence, like,
By
Well, yeah,
Rotary
it-
Park.
okay.
Do you know where Rotary Park
Yeah,
is?
You know where Brown Graphic is, at
Right.
Mill Street, so across the street is the embankment, is the,
It's a continuation of the rail trail just across the river.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Let's Collis had talked about that like forever ago, I remember.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
just,
But it's that.
yeah, it's,
Okay.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's that 100 and, what is it, 10 feet?
yes, I think.
It's
is that
110
what it's-
feet.
Yeah, 100 and.
It's a 110-foot, $1.2 million bridge that saves 100 yards of walking on Factory Street. That's what
Okay.
it does.
When, and also like makes it, I guess, saves walking on,
Yeah,
like the
'cause-
on Main Street.
Because
too.
the,
Well, Main Street has all sidewalks there. anyway.
Right, but I
Yeah.
guess I'm saying in terms of like traffic, like,
Main Street has sidewalks there.
well,
Yeah.
but still, the
Yeah.
pedestrian and bike traffic does have to get onto Main Street on the bridge that exists today, which is dangerous, there's no question.
right,
And part of the proposal here was, and because these TAP grants are for non-vehicle type path, whether it's walking path, riding path, is for non-vehicle type projects. And this one is a natural extension of the rail trail. And what will happen is we'll bring the rail trail down into the village without getting onto Main Street at that point. Yes, you do have to walk across Main Street in order to extend if you want to go to.
That's, it doesn't create any more of a traffic safety as anything else, because all it does is dump you on Main Street. So, it's, you know, you're gonna spend $1.2 million we're not gonna spend that.
Right,
the grant,
but-
yeah.
Grant is 1.2 million, we're gonna have to come up with 80%. Or,
20%.
huh?
20%, it's a matching.
20%, I mean, the match, so you got to come up with 20%, so.
So,
But that goes down the road. It's
but
still
there has
a long
been
way.
you know, there's been this committee's been, as I said, we've been going, what, 2 iterations of this committee that started with just the planning process, and then we got to the point where we applied for this grant. David Pierce has done a lot of work.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of work on the rail trail, obviously, so he's very knowledgeable about this. So we're at the point where, hey, we're rated as the top project. That doesn't mean it's gonna get funded. The next step is, I think, the end of May, that will be then sent to the DOT. If we're successful, and it looks like we are at the top, it will be sent to the DOT, and the DOT then has to put it in a 10-year plan, road plan, because that will be, and that's budgeted for it. Now, it doesn't mean that it's gonna get all funded.
Then
So this is, we're talking maybe,
It still has to go to the governor and council for it.
yeah. So we're
Which is
talking, if this
phased.
if this comes to fruition, we're looking at 2027, somewhere.
For the
in
final
that.
approval, we hope 27.
Yeah, okay, but it is you know, I think it's an enhancement, it would be an enhancement to the village, it's a natural finish to the rail trail. It's not the bridge, a lot of people say, oh, we're gonna build the
Covered bridge.
covered bridge again. Well, that won't be it. I mean, there would be a nice to have.
that's what I'm picturing, and so you're saying it's not that, so
No.
it's not in the same spot as that.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's the
It is,
same spot, it's just
absolutely.
not
Covered.
covered.
It's not a covered bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
How
And
wide,
if you, the dimensions are right on that.
how wide is it?
It's 8, it's gotta be
10 feet
8
up,
to
so
10.
126 feet long. Open top, 8-foot wide interior clearance, steel truss structure supported on new footers.
Yeah.
And everybody's talked about maybe putting some kind of sides on it so the kids can't jump off of it. There's lots of talk about different
if you go down the rail trail into Manchester, the bridge that connects the Goffstown Rail Trail to Manchester, there is a bridge there. It's called the Singer Bridge. It's donated by the Singer family. They put it up, I don't know how many years ago, but that's the style that we're looking at. And it's, that picture, that rendition is basically what the conceptual plan is. I mean, that certainly can change, but it would not be, certainly not be a covered bridge, but it would be an open bridge that could carry, obviously, bikes and, you know, and people. So, and wide enough so that you can pass along the way. So, again, just to bring everybody up to, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what was happening. We met last night, Peter was part of the meeting that we had, so there was a lot of discussion about what would happen if we could, if this grant was approved and that was accepted in the DOT, because there's still that piece that we have to raise 20% of a grant. So that's, yeah, that's a missing piece, and there's a lot of discussion.
Did they talk about trying to get, like, donations from larger businesses?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the next question, is what, we talked about capital, a capital campaign, like many projects have done, or organizations have done. There are other grants available that you could apply to it, but again, grants are sometimes difficult and a lot of work behind a grant. So we're gonna, I guess what will happen, and if this committee stays in place, that being the bridge committee, their next task would be to work on possible fundraising. So that would be the next.
And those funds have to be run through the rail trail because they have the nonprofit.
501,
Yeah.
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 Do
They
the
have
selectmen have to accept them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the rail trail gets the money, and then the rail trail comes to the board of selectmen and asks the select board to
Accept it.
accept it.
So any other questions regarding that? I just wanted to make sure everybody understood. Joanne, can you add anything to that for maybe the public that might be listening or seeing this at some point? Anything else?
The one person? No, I don't have
Okay.
anything else.
Okay. All right, so number 4 in our new business is the sewer commission. So what I heard about, and this may be a continuation of discussions you folks had last meeting, but I know Chet explained to me that he talked to Tim Redmond, who is the sewer commissioner, would like to have a discussion with this board with regard to what the sewer commission capabilities are as far as getting sewer lines in areas that we would like to see some development, because this is what we're here for, is to try to enhance development, commercial development that will bring in some tax base. And so that's, I guess, the question, and hopefully Tim will be here, somebody representing the sewer commission, and where we can have a discussion and start working with these bodies in town. The other thing that Chet mentioned to me is obviously getting some of the representatives from the planning board in here so that they can understand what we're doing and what they're doing. I think it's, you know, we've had this discussion, I think Oscar, you've been in the discussion, certainly Joanne has, we've discussed the fact that we gotta bring other committees into our discussions, because we sit here and we talk about all these things, but we don't know what can be done, what's possible, and it does involve sewer, it does involve planning, and we gotta be able to have those discussions if we can move anything ahead. So, that's my piece, but this is an open discussion about that.
So, this is my feelings.
Go ahead.
Number one, we have some new members on the committee. I think what we need to have, you need to have a map of the town that designates what areas you can target, okay? Because you could say, I want to put the place there, but it's not zoned for that, so let's not even worry about what's going on there. That's number one. Number two, we have not Chet talking to people or you talking to people on one-on-one, but bring it in so the board can speak to people. No different than when the budget committee brings in a department head. You don't let one person take care of that. You have the whole committee have a shot at it, so you're getting it direct from the horse's mouth. You bring in the sewer department. You bring in water. Now that brings not just Goffstown, it's Grassmere, it's Manchester. You get all these people that come in and say, okay, what's going on here? What needs to be done to get this done? Do we need to set up a TIF district? Do you even know what a TIF district is? If not, Joanne can bring somebody in, or she can explain how that works. There's a lot of things that the board is not doing. Just bringing people in to talk Main Street, oh yeah, we're doing this, that's not developing anything, okay? We have properties of the old Shaw Plaza, those pad sites that are ready to do it. How do we get that person to get his information out there, and how do we push that information that there are pad sites available here? And we should have traffic counts so you can approach a business, and I'm sure those things are available somewhere, and say, okay, look, there's 50,000 cars going by this pad site every day, you know, and that's something you could push to a business or to help promote something, to say, whether it's to use like they did over at Starbucks, you know. Originally Starbucks, somebody wanted to put in housing in there, and in the infinite wisdom, somebody said, no, that's one of our commercial industrials or one of our commercial sites, and stopped the housing from going in there, and now we have a commercial business in there. Those are the type of things this board needs to do. If they're not ready to push it that far and do the work, well then, what are you really gonna be doing? You need to have something to do, and that's some things that can be done.
Yeah, for those that haven't been involved in our discussions in the past, and that those are exactly the things that we've talked about, some main parcels in town. I mean, one that we always come back and focus on is the Villa. We, and I know, Joanne, you've made some efforts to contact the people, but just a piece of property like that, that's how many acres over there? I don't know, it's a lot of acreage. Nobody really is sure what is happening with that. We know that certainly there's a company that owns it, but we're not sure what they really would like to do with it. And I think, Pat, in the past, you may have been involved in this, they were looking, or the previous owner of that property was looking for sewer, and there isn't anything on coming down the line.
They were looking for natural gas.
And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
natural
Natural
gas.
gas is what they're looking for.
It was this company that owns it now.
Yeah. So,
There is none.
And the natural gas thing is a big thing, because you can not only help to develop other parcels, but it also would bring natural gas into our school system, which would actually, you could change the heating system over natural gas, which is less expensive than what they're doing now. So there's a lot of advantage, so we need to, as a committee, bring the company in here and say, okay, what's it gonna take? Because the reason they didn't do it was the return on investment wasn't there. And it's up to the police station right now.
yeah, because
That's
there
how far it
wasn't,
goes.
at the time, there wasn't any of that development, certainly, you know, well, we have the car wash, now we have Hawks is the next one. None of that existed, right, at the
No.
time, and that's what they, like Peter said, bring them, that's a big expense, and they wanna make sure that they're gonna be profitable bringing that line in town. But it opens up a whole realm of, that is our main corridor, and that's where commercial development
So
should
do we
be.
have natural gas in town at all right now?
It's up to the police station.
So, and where does it start on the other end? Like at
Manchester.
the Manchester, so it
Yeah.
goes from Manchester to the police station
Right.
and then it stops?
That's it.
And then, so it would be, the town would pay, in a pretend world, right? The town would pay to go from the police station all the way to where, right? Pretend for a moment. That would be what we would be looking at. Like that's the ideal, right?
To a certain extent, the town wouldn't do it, but it would have to be maybe a partnership with the gas company, because then, once that's done, there's just more than just running the line, then you gotta hook up housing and all that, and then what happens is there's fees that a person would pay. If Oscar lived on Nash Road and he wanted to hook up the natural gas, he would have to pay a certain amount of money to have that natural gas brought into his house. And over time, it always pays for natural gas cheaper. I have natural gas at my place, so I know it's less expensive.
Yeah, it's just like any utility, even
Just
if
like
they bring-
Eversource, like we have a partnership with Eversource, they build and maintain all the big giant towers. I'm just trying to like relate this.
Yeah, it's even bringing water to
Okay.
properties, you know, if you're on septic,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden a water line came down your street,
Sure.
well, they'll put it in, but you've gotta have hookup fees, so you gotta be
Right.
able to.
So like
get
I'm
'em.
on town sewer, so every 6 months
You're
I
getting
pay
a-
$250,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And that goes to maintaining the sewer.
And that was done by the sewer department. They ran it all the way down Mass Road. It runs along the rail trail in a lot of spots. That's why the rail trail was developed at one point, part of it. The sewer runs right down there. So that was a project that was done, that got 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
But that has its benefits there, and then again, with natural gas running, if you could bring natural gas down that same corridor, you've got a lot of opportunity to develop.
So I guess what is preventing that? So what's preventing that company from doing that is that they're saying that it's not.
Return on investment.
They
Money.
don't think that the school
The
would
out-
want to sign up. That the schools would want to sign up
Yeah,
for
but
it.
it's still, at the school maybe just one, you know, it's, if they would've been a little bit earlier, probably could've got the new units over there across from the villa, to sign up onto it, but, you know, the timing was poor, wasn't great, so.
What do
I
those
think-
units
Huh?
use? What do those,
Propane.
they're
Yeah,
big
yeah,
propane tanks?
Yeah,
They have several
Is
tanks
the-
there.
and the car wash is as well.
Car wash, I think, is propane.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, those places, when we talked about this 5, 6 years ago, wasn't that long ago probably?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, that, you know, but there wasn't, the ROA wasn't there. ROA
And that's what we, probably as a council here, we've gotta get that company, whether, whoever it's, Liberty, is it?
Liberty.
You know, talk to them and say, what will it take in order for them to make that investment of bringing that line further down? So that because they want to see the potential, and if we can come back to them and say, look this is what we have.
Well, so should we first invite Liberty in to say, what do you want? And then,
No, I think you invite them in and say, why don't you?
Yeah.
right, so
True.
like, so
You
we
know,
can,
instead of saying,
so,
what do you want?
like,
Why
I'm
don't you?
Yeah.
totally on board with this idea, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've now kind of like gotten a little grasp on it, so like, somebody has to call up Liberty and say, what do you need? Or do we invite them in here and say, what do you need to make this happen?
They need, we did it once before for them. They need us to show them basically a map showing all of the parcels that would potentially hook on and what they are. So, you know, if it's just a house, they would charge so much. If it's a business, it would be, you know,
Okay.
more than that. And then they calculate everything, and then the last time they did it, they said, no, there's not enough building going on there.
But who initiates a discussion like that? Or do
The
we have?
last time we did it, there was a member, I can't think of his name, but he was on this committee,
Okay.
and he worked for Liberty. And
Oh, all
so
right.
we, you know.
But it's not something like we have to go to the select board and say,
No,
this is
no.
what we're doing, or.
You couldn't make any deals without.
No, no, I
We
just-
went to
no,
Concord
but
where
it's not-
their office, I think their offices were, at the time anyway, they were on Main Street in Concord.
Okay,
And we had a meeting with them and asked them, you know, what it was that they were looking for. And then we sent everything to them, and then they said no.
so I would assume it'd be the same, but, well,
I mean, if
can
you-
we ask again
Yeah,
It's a-
sure.
a-
If you think about
what we
what-
need and prepare?
what's been built since that time
Mm.
frame.
And what's potentially gonna be built.
Right.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying before, we have to look just in the whole broad scheme of things, what parcels are out there, and it might fit into what we're talking to them about. You know, it's,
So do we just like survey those businesses? Like, do we just ask, like, I mean, I'm sure we could, like, the school would be an example, right? Like, we could ask the school board or the superintendent, if natural gas was available, would you hook up to it? And then they say yes or no. We ask, the Shell station, if natural gas was available, would you hook up to it?
I
They
think
say
the
yes or
first
no.
question would be, what does it cost? What will it cost me?
Exactly. It's going,
Yeah.
it all comes down to what is it gonna cost, what is it gonna cost? And I think you get those answers probably
Right.
from the utility
Right.
company to say, this is what we're looking at as we see your map here. This is what we can foresee. If you're really thinking of doing it or having us do it, this is what we foresee as far as costs. To get them so that they're gonna get paid, basically.
Right. I
They've
guess
gotta
I'm-
get paid.
I'm just trying to figure out what the first step is in this.
Well,
Bring the person in and find out what it's
yeah.
gonna take.
I think that's,
Okay,
I think it would have to be like probably we did before. Make a contact at Liberty
Maybe
Utilities.
that
say-
same man, maybe he still works there.
Yeah,
He's a
Do you know who
Goffstown
it was?
resident. No, but I could look back.
would you? And then we can,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to, if you can't make the call, I'd certainly make the call so that we can get it started.
But you can't really go to the businesses and say, would you be interested in this? What's the first question?
Yeah.
What's it gonna cost you?
right, that
Sounds
You
would
don't have
good.
any idea.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what is the first step in this
First step
process.
is to bring them in, see if they're interested now with the potential, with the development, increase in development and potential development. You can say we have 60 units over here that are on propane, we have 20 units over there that are on propane. There's so many units potential, approved to go in this location, and, that, you get the car wash, you got the new, trailer place.
And then you have the apartments that haven't, or the condominiums that haven't been built yet by the Shell station.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's all.
That's what I'm saying, it's the potential there, you could say this is what's on the plan, on the
Yeah.
board,
And I also wonder whether they probably do their planning too. They look at potential in
Yeah.
towns. Maybe they're thinking the same thing, and maybe this would move the needle a little bit to say, oh yeah, we were thinking about you, Goffstown, how you doing? It's kind of like,
Yeah.
okay. So I think in this, this goes back to the general thought about the council. We've got to be proactive. We've got to be able to start something.
I'm not saying anything different than Kelly didn't say when she was here either, that you gotta do something, you're not
Yeah, yeah.
just calling in the same people or having Chet say, and I love Chet to death, he works his butt off, but say, well, I'll talk to this guy, I'll talk to him. Those people have to come into the committee so the committee can talk to him.
Yeah.
We all have to have that information and not relayed from somebody else. You're better off having them right in front of you like we did with the guy from St. A's, and we specifically asked questions that pertaining to that, and we all had answers, so.
Yeah, because just for a long time, and I go back probably as far as you do, as far as town stuff, it's always been the question of what does this council do? And obviously the purpose is so that we're trying to get tax base. And
Right.
especially in times like this, that's what we're looking for, other places where we can bring revenue into the town to help the tax base.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of unfortunately, just the way geographically we are in Goffstown, it's an odd town. It's got that long stretch, and then you get a lot of, it's a bedroom community basically with some smaller areas that are commercial development. So
Right.
we're not the same as a Bedford, for instance, or a Merrimack. It's just difficult.
Yeah, well, and even just the geography of like Glen Lake can make it difficult to get from one side of things to the other. Like you have to kind of go around.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, right? Like we're not going to build a bridge in like off of Dennis Park to the other side.
That
Right.
was thought
Not that I
of.
know
That, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That was in the plans at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because then I think as somebody who lives so close to downtown, like even this like walking bridge I think is very interesting because it's not that people drive on Main Street like they're going somewhere, not like they are driving, like, if that makes sense. Like, I realize that I'm kind of repeating myself, but I think that people drive too fast on Main Street, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that it makes it so that you don't want to walk your dog on the bridge, like right on Main Street,
Sure.
because people have large cars, and I have a small dog, and I walk by, and it can be a little
Sure.
jarring, right? And so you can ask people to drive the speed limit and go slower, but what's that really gonna do, right? So if there's a way to divert some of that traffic, because I also think that some people don't want to be driving on Main Street if they could get another way, if they could get around another way. And I think that there's this idea that if we remove cars from Main Street, it would lower business traffic in Main Street, but I don't think that that's true. I think that it would allow people to enjoy it more.
Well, remember the bypass that they wanted to build?
Around
That's-
the mountain?
No,
No.
right behind here, to
Oh,
avoid.
that was a long time,
Yeah.
When
yeah, we
Steve
had all
Griffin
that.
was here.
Yeah,
I
but by
remember all that.
around,
I
you
served
know,
on that committee.
Yeah.
was that, it was like a traffic pattern that
Yeah,
would,
we
Yeah.
served in that.
One
So it
way
would be
around.
a bypass
It was
around
also
Right.
to help
Main Street.
alleviate the problem on High Street.
Right. I mean, I have to take a left off of High Street every day at
I do the
4:30.
same thing.
And it is rough, right?
rough.
And I think that if the town of Ware is gonna continue to build houses, those people are gonna need to go to Manchester to either go to work or to get on the highway to go to Boston. And the only way to get from Ware to Manchester is to go through Main Street.
Yeah, you're right, and I guess you'd probably get some pushback with regard to, you know, the business community saying, well, you know, we do
Yeah.
wanna see the traffic, we hope that it will help
Yeah.
our businesses. But you're right, I mean, we're
Yeah.
a pass-through for a lot of.
But I know like
a
the
lot.
same, like Hillsborough's downtown
Yeah.
had kind of the same problem where it was fading, right? Because people were just driving through, and then they extended 202 and they made it not go through the center of Hillsborough anymore, and it allowed the people of Hillsborough to come back in, and like, you know, you come in and you go to Apotheca, and then you walk across the street to the Trestle, and then you walk, you know, over to the bookshop, and you get to move around a little bit more freely, and you can get parking, and you're not like trying to parallel park when you have like a line of 10 cars behind you, and you're like, no, I'm just not gonna do it anymore, you
Well,
know?
I think you're getting off subject here. I don't really think that's this economic development position to start planning roads and things. I think we need to deal with what's in front of us right now.
Okay,
Building multi-million-dollar roads and bridges and stuff like you would have to do to go down over Dana's Park, which would just take you over to Goffstown Back Road, which would put all the traffic back over here on 13, and just, 114, I mean, all you're just, if you're trying to free up traffic here, there are ways that people who want to go to Ware, and I don't want to deal with this, they can go down the other way and cross over the river and into Boston.
They're all
All
good
these things have
points.
been looked at for years.
They're all good points. And I go back to the geography of our town. It's just, it's the way it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and we gotta deal with what we have, but what we're bringing it back to what we're here for is to be able to say, okay, what do we have, and what could we create out of, especially the commercial properties that we have,
right.
to be able to bring in some, well-needed revenue.
Yeah, do we know what happened, does anyone know what happened with that housing bill that went before the House, like last week?
Which one?
It was about like
But,
building,
to be able to build.
being able to build houses in
higher
commercial.
density.
No,
It hasn't,
yeah,
it
industrial.
hasn't been,
It's
no,
not
So it
been
was
it's
through
commercial,
yet.
yeah.
It hasn't, they haven't finalized anything yet. Most things are still in committee,
Okay,
but they should be, out fairly soon.
okay, I just know that like, if that bill passes, which I guess I think it's going to,
I do
Bec-
too.
because New Hampshire has such a housing crisis.
Mhm.
And part of that is that there's not enough houses, right? So it's making the demand for houses go up. I think that we need to figure out how to, like, write into the planning that if someone is going to build an apartment complex, that it needs to look like, especially for, like, if someone was gonna build it like where Pizza Hut used to be, right? Like, I'm just gonna, in that Shaw's Plaza, I'm gonna use that as an example. Somebody's gonna build an apartment complex there. We need to determine what it's going to look like now. Like, we need to tell that builder, like, hey, it's already in our planning boards, like, it all has to be brick face, or it all has to be this color of siding. Because if we can make Pinardville more aesthetically pleasing, people will be more likely to go there.
See, here they're getting off the,
Yeah.
off the,
I mean,
we don't want it, but we don't want it, I mean, yeah, we don't want, we would rather, this committee, I think, would rather have that property developed as a commercial property or commercial retail property than have apartments come in there.
Right.
And we don't have enough of that, so once you put apartments in there, it's a whole different story. And we can't, this committee's job is not to get involved in planning and tell them what kind of, to do that, you need people on the planning board to make those decisions, in zoning regulations, which, you know, Joanne is involved in, but I'm saying
Yeah, I think
this committee is in charge
It all,
of.
it all should come together. I mean, there is a master plan. I mean,
Yeah.
I've worked on it, Peter, I know you've worked on it. There is a master plan, and when if you look at that master plan, it's basically what we all know. That corridor of 114 should be where the commercial center, and it has become that. Unfortunately, Pinardville has become part of that commercial, because it's been, I guess, in the right place, and commercial
And
entities
it has
came
the
in.
utilities.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now you have to say, okay, how can we build around that? And it's not our issue to say, this is what you're going to build. It's going to be, we want to get, to incentivize, I guess is the word, to get commercial entities to come in. Now, when they come in, they say, oh yeah, we'd like to do something in Pinardville, one of these pad sites. Well, they have to come in with a site plan. They have to show the planning board what they're going to do, how many, because there's rules for that. So that's not where we are, but we're trying to get them. We're trying to say, hey, Goffstown's a good place to do business. Come on in, and hopefully our boards aren't gonna slow that up. That's another thing that we could talk about all day. But we wanna get the process so that where the developers come in and say, yeah, okay, this is a good place to do business, and we'd like to do business. And I think that's what the purpose is.
We need to find the kind of businesses that fit in. You
Yeah.
take like, over at, we keep saying Shaw's Plaza, over at that plaza, we've had businesses go in and out of there numerous times. What was the last one? Namco was in there, now they're gone. Then, somebody did come in over the Halloween, they did that,
Yeah, that was just
Oh,
a
yeah,
pop-up.
Halloween.
That pop-up,
I noticed Verizon came in with a store, and
Verizon's in there.
Lavaca is in there with the
Yeah.
They just got
Mexican restaurant.
voted the best new restaurant by the Hippo survey.
Yeah, I think it's a great restaurant. I've been there. I think it's a great restaurant.
Yeah,
Recommended it.
Right. Well, and I think Lavaca's doing really, really well. I know like Power Thirst is in there. I think they're
Yeah.
doing well. Even like Planet Fitness, I think is doing well. Even there's a tattoo shop that I've never gone to. There's Supercuts. I think those businesses are
They've
doing.
been there for a long time,
Yeah.
Supercuts.
We
Yeah.
got Mountain Base Brewery is in there.
Right,
which
and
is-
Mountain Base Brewery does, I feel like they're having an event every single weekend. Every Thursday they do something.
I know the karaoke guy is gonna be there Friday.
We won't mention any names.
But so, I think that the problem that maybe some of those, and I'm sure that even the businesses that exist in there now would want something that is, they're looking for a space that's more aesthetically pleasing. And I realize you can't build a prettier building when there's already tenants in there because they're already there. But so is the process of making something look nicer, is it just, are we looking to reach out to developers to say, hey, do you want to build something here?
There is some money for them to improve the facade of that plaza. They're in the right zone for it, not zone, but I forget the name of it.
79E.
The 79E
Oh, yeah.
zone.
Which comes before the Board of Selectmen, we have never turned one down, we did it over here at Pizza Place.
Yeah.
We did it over at the haircut place there, we did it over there.
But they don't seem to,
I think
I think it would be nice to have them come in and talk to us, but I
Very
don't know if they
difficult to
would.
talk to that
Yeah.
person.
yeah, that's an out-of-state developer?
Massachusetts.
Yeah, he's out of Boston.
But I think, going back to what you're saying, I think the businesses drive what it's going to look like. Like, if there's more businesses that are knocking on that developer's door, you say, wait, I gotta do, or they're saying to, you know, I like this location, but you gotta do something about the
Yeah.
aesthetics of it.
I mean, so
that can be driven by the business itself.
So should,
And the planning board, it's
Yeah.
not, the problem is we don't have that kind of control here.
so
Yeah.
should we reach out to that developer, like the owner of the old Shaw's Plaza space?
Yeah, we've talked about that. That was one of the places that we identified. Because
Okay.
not only is it just there's pad sites, there's 2 sites, used to be
Right.
Pizza Hut and, who else was there? Isn't there 2 pad
I
sites there?
think there's only one.
No, there's one.
Only one? Okay.
But so I guess when did we last reach out to them?
I don't think we've reached out to them at all. That's, again, goes back to
Okay,
how are we gonna do that?
Reach out to them for what? You have
To-
to have a mission before you're gonna go out and say, let's go reach out to this person. What are we gonna reach out to them for?
Maybe
Well, the-
about improving the aesthetics.
No, I think the first question is, what are you looking to get in there, number one? What,
Or
can we, and
and the
Peter,
empty
I think,
pad site.
I think it's, how can we help you
Get
to
somebody in. How
get
can
somebody
we
in
promote
there?
your- How can we promote your facility?
We're interested in getting more business for our
I
town.
think when people look at it, there's much nicer places, and so they're like, you know what I mean?
But again, the demand, the more, you know, there is more housing being built,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. There's apartments, there's condos, that's more people. They want
Right.
services.
Right.
So, you know, you got, the developers obviously looking at that too. They're saying, what's the population? Pete, I think you mentioned, you know, car counts is one of those things. How many cars pass by that plaza every day? Maybe the developer has that information, if he's any kind of a developer, or she.
I don't
and he-
think that guy's really a developer. I think he's just a real estate owner who bought that, and he's actually, the people that were in Lavaca before was actually a relative of that guy.
Oh,
I've gotten really involved in that at one time, so. but-
is,
Go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just saying, it's just, you know, he's out of Boston, and his,
he's a
English
landlord
is-
that owns the
And
property, and
I
he's
think
happy
he
with.
owns other properties
Yeah.
elsewhere.
and communicating with him is pretty difficult. When I was trying to communicate with him, I had to go through his nephew, and then his nephew had to relate to him, and then, it was kinda difficult, you know. But now they got a real estate guy up there. That's been sold and bought and sold a couple of times that I know of.
And this is good, this is great discussion, and I wanna move along because I don't wanna keep it more than an hour if I can, but I think it's great discussion, and all the things that you're asking us, you know, that have been asked, and the problem is, we now have to take some action. You know, where do we start? And Joanne has helped us identify properties, you know, the vacant properties that we have. I think we have somewhat of a list of those vacant properties that could be commercial properties. And I think the next step is we identify number one, we can find out easily who owns those properties. And then try to get a feel, for instance, just that example of a pad site, but if you go to somebody else that owns a property, what's the plan? And we're here to try to help you. It's the same way as going to St. Anselm and say, okay, we see this property there because they have that old Martin's Catering property. And I guess that was discussed the last meeting.
There's a problem there. His problem is if you had water down, you have to get water down there, water.
There's water nearby, but no sewer.
There's no.
Yeah, but they needed the sewer needs a pump station because it's down over the hill.
Oh.
So that's a little bit more involved than just, you know, running sewer over there, but that was one of their things.
But see, that's why we need a discussion with the sewer
Okay.
department to say, is this something that's doable? take, you know, we can only do one step at a
Yeah,
time.
I guess
Not-
I'm looking for an action item.
Okay.
What would you like me to do?
I want you to build a sewer pump. No, no. Well, the question would, I think the first thing is we make some contact to some people. I'd like to get to, number one, that Liberty Utilities would be one of the things that I would like to do. But also, if we can get, I think we have to break down that list of properties so that each one of us on this board, I know not everybody has a whole lot of time, and I know you have your day jobs and families, but if we could just take 2 or 3 of those properties and identify who owns them, and go in as a representative of the Economic Development Council and say, what's the plan? Do you have a plan? We'd like to know. We're trying to develop properties in town.
And let's not forget our property on the back road.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Are you familiar with that?
No.
We have industrial, kind of an industrial park there that could be where TMS is going now, and
How much land is back there? Is there a lot left? That's where the storage facility is. It's right on the Manchester.
That's what I figured, yeah.
On the Manchester line, which for years, nobody, we couldn't ever find anybody to do anything with that. It was just the radio tower was there. Now, all of a sudden, you know, the storage facility and then the bubbles there, the sports complex is
Right.
there. So,
now
I
you
don't
have
know how much
TMS
is
is
left.
building out back.
What do they do?
TMS is a truck repair facility.
Yeah.
But one of the issues there is that's a private road and there's a little bit more to it, but there is, you know, that is industrial property or commercial industrial property that could be developed.
But so are we, once again, I guess like, bringing it
Okay.
back to like, I'm looking for, like, do you want me to call the person who owns Shaw's Plaza and ask them what their plan is?
certainly, do we have contact?
I can probably get something from the building department. If you go into our database, it has the name of the owner and the address, but no phone number or email.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
They just put a sign, like where that Pizza Hut is, like there's a sign.
oh,
Yeah,
then
that's
It's
that's,
like-
like commercial site for,
that
Yeah,
might
there's a
be
phone
really-
It's a
number on
pad
it.
site, it says right on it, it's a
yeah,
pad site.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Then I would
You
call
can call
that
it, but
number.
I think what you're gonna get is the realtor who's handling it.
Is there a realtor now?
I think
Yeah.
so, that's who's on the sign, I think it's Keller, I'm not sure if it's Keller, it's a
I
real,
think it's yellow.
realtor sign.
It's, yeah, and Keller does normally like blue and red, I feel.
Yeah,
I
think
thought
that-
it was their sign, like their own sign that
thought
they
it was-
made.
I don't know, but we'll,
But-
I'll
but,
I'll
yeah,
give him
I-
a shout, I'll
yeah,
give him a shout.
yep.
I can do
And-
that by next month. I'll give him a shout.
That would be
ask
great.
him what their plan is.
But I'd also like to, Joanne, if we can, do we have that database that as far as those vacant properties?
Yes, I will ask the assessor to update it,
Okay,
because it's like a year old or so.
because I think the next meeting should be where we got that list. and see-
Identify the pieces, the parcels of property that are available, potential what can go there. Yes, there's sewer, no, there's no sewer. Yes, there's water, there's no water. Things like that, so you
Yep.
can say, you can't go out to somebody, hey, can you build here? Well, you got sewer there? I don't know, let me check. You wanna have all those answers in front of you, you don't wanna go in blind.
And
But
that map is up to date. That's our zoning map.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you go on to the GIS on our website,
Mm-hmm.
you can put in, like, so you have that list and it would have the map and lot and the address.
Right.
Most times if it's vacant, it would just be map and lot. So you put in the map and lot, and then the parcel will come up, and then you click it, and you'll have like a kind of a sheet that tells you a little bit about the property, the owner's name,
Ownership,
the acreage,
contact.
the things like that. But you still need to click a few more to get the actual property card, to see, like, does it, what's its zone? Does it have sewer? Does it have water or
Mhm.
septic or
Mhm.
whatever? And that will give you more information, what the acreage is and things like that. So if it's only, a very small parcel, then you don't really want to deal with
Right.
it. You need, a little,
Yeah.
You know, maybe an acre or something like that, so.
Yeah, I think that's what we're
Or
gotta
more.
look at, is something that is bigger, that,
Yeah.
again.
People don't even realize there's a piece of property right on Daniel Plummer behind the urgent care.
Yeah.
And the urgent care, that's right.
There's a piece of property right
There's
there.
no for
This
sale
is-
sign out there, but I know that they were looking to sell it.
Yeah.
This might be a bit off the subject, but off Daniel Plummer, the White House, it's across from Martin Catering property, right, St. Anthony.
That's being developed.
What is that, do we know?
I got a pretty good idea what's going on.
Is it, okay, it is commercial, it is a commercial entity, or is it housing again?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All
so,
right.
so even this map that's on the website, on like goffstownnh.gov, like under the economic development page, right? Like there's this little Goffstown revitalization, Bernardville map. And so I'm sure that like there's, you know, Conservancy, Agricultural, Residential 1, 2.
Yeah, that's right here. You
Right,
have this
yeah, I'm
as
sure it's the
well.
same thing, and I'm sure, you know, RSV 01 means something to somebody, it doesn't mean anything to me. But I can't, I wish I could click on these parcels to see,
Well, I think that's what Joanne's saying, that
You
she
can if you go on a different map.
okay, if I'm on like the actual
So
GIS
when you're
website, or
on
GSI.
the home page of the website, just do a search and put in maps, and then you'll get the results, and then you go to the one that says GIS map.
And it'll tell you if it already has sewer and water and hookup and
It,
all that
it,
stuff?
it won't tell you when you're on the map itself, so you have to click the parcel,
Mhm.
and then it will bring up this page. You don't really want that page because it's not very helpful, but once you go into that page, there's another section that says field card, and that's what you want to go into.
Could we make this into a spreadsheet?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I guess is that something, who would do that? Would that be me? Would that be?
Well, if
Please
you,
don't make it
so are you saying just like put the different categories up there that
right.
you'd like
So
to fill
so
in?
that what makes, you know, I think we've just, as a committee, we've kind of decided what makes a space most developable. Having access to water, having access to sewer, having access to natural gas.
And then a certain size lot,
Right, the size of
and
the
the
lot.
zoning.
And then I think the police department has a way to check how many cars travel in a spot, because that's how they set up their, like the speed.
Southern New Hampshire
Thing.
Planning does traffic counts
Mhm.
every year, so we can get that from them.
Okay, because I think that would be a good factor.
I think for an immediate action plan is really to get started on identifying those properties. I think if you want to do that on some of those properties that we're talking about, and then we get a bigger list, Joanne, that we
And
can
we're
then
gonna-
split up for the next time, I would suggest, and I will suggest this to Chet as well, that we take and hopefully, if everybody's in agreement and has time, just to take these properties and do our own investigation.
Right.
And we'll have certain questions that we've talked about tonight.
This is a committee thing, not one person, that's the thing.
Well, I could put together the categories
Okay,
And you get the updated map
and
first.
get the update. First I can give you an explanation of how to get to that map, and then get to the field cards.
Okay.
And then I can put together the spreadsheet with the categories.
okay.
So that's what you'll look for when you go into these properties. And then, what else do you need? There was something
You
else.
need to have it updated before you have people.
Oh,
go-
and
you
let
get it updated
Scott
first
update it.
Before you have people going and
Yeah,
looking, because
'cause
that
it
may
will
have
be
changed.
outdated,
Right,
yeah.
you want that first.
Is that,
So I think he can do it like that,
Okay.
because it's all in his system for assessing,
Okay.
and he just plugs in like what his search criteria is, and then it comes up.
that would, I think we need, and, it's all of that, any of that basic information, and then from there, it's, you start identifying them, saying, okay, and then.
So if you do a search, like you could start with search by zones, and then look, if it's like a residential zone, you don't bother with it.
Right.
Even if it's, maybe a certain size, if it's a quarter of an acre or whatever, you don't bother with it. So you kind of start winding it down to.
Would you?
We can set
would
up
you-
her-
Would you include RSBOD?
It depends, like so there's two RSBODs, there's a 1 and a 2, and they were really set up more for doctors' offices
Well,
or
I
a
mean,
lawyer's office or those kinds of businesses, where they were supposed to be like a buffer.
Is that village
Between-
commercial, are you talking about village
No, the
No.
RSBOD is in Pinardville
Oh,
on Mast
yeah.
Road.
Okay.
And then there's an RSBOD 2, like on South Mast. And they were supposed to be a buffer between the residential and the commercial.
Mhm.
So it's like a light business zone, basically.
Dentist office, things
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
Professional
Right.
offices. Okay.
not just professional offices, but things similar to
Right.
that. So I don't know if I'd look at that. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for.
I think the larger parcels, if
Like
we can
in
get,
commercial and-
you think Scott can get that to that point?
Yeah,
And we can have that for the next meeting,
I think so, yeah.
and even
pretty
in
sure.
between
Yeah,
time?
that's what I guess that's what
You
I'm
wanna
looking
get
for
to-
is like that spreadsheet for our next meeting so that we can divvy out places and then we can start inviting them in, right? Because that's what we want to do. We want to invite them in and be like, tell us your plan, tell us how we can help you.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. But I think the thing is, what you're going to hear is sewer, water, natural gas. That's what these businesses need to have. And then, at least I can tell you up Daniel Plummer, that's a problem with sewer up there. There's no sewer. All those buildings on Daniel Plummer, there's no sewer. So if somebody was to do a project like you were talking about, St. A's and Daniel Plummer, well, they're not gonna look at something that's gonna need sewer or,
Right.
because you can't do anything big enough there. So you may have something like storage units or
It's worth
something
the ask,
like
though.
that.
I mean,
Huh?
I think it's worth the ask, because I worked at a company that was.
Yeah, I
no
think
bigger
you
than
mentioned
this-
that,
this-
yeah.
This big, this building, and they were doing, millions of dollars. It's like defense stuff, so they don't need much, right? So I think if we have access to that list, and I can help you put a spreadsheet together. It's no
Okay.
problem. So,
Yeah, you have some expertise in that?
a little bit,
All right.
a little bit.
All right. Yeah, all right.
So you know what we're doing for next time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Good.
tell you that,
We have one more item, too.
Oh,
Are you,
sorry.
is that where you're going?
no,
I didn't mean
no.
to cut you off, but I see this update on exit 6. What is that?
So you
What
guys
is that?
asked about that like 2 meetings ago, I
I
think.
don't.
What the
You talking about
timeframe
exit
was.
6 in,
Manchester.
293.
293.
that's,
Remember
is
there
that
was a-
exit 6?
Remember there was a
Oh, yeah,
committee
I'm
and all
sorry,
that?
I'm sorry, I'm with you now. I'm with you, at 293, okay.
I found this on the state's website, so it looks like the plan was pushed out till 2029. And that was just for a public hearing, and then the final revision with environmental assessment was the fall of 2029. And then the anticipated start date wouldn't be until spring of 2035.
We'll have
I
new-
thought that
brand new
was,
trees
but
though.
wasn't that pushed, because I remember we had a meeting with Lou D'Alessandro,
Yeah.
and he talked about getting it into the next 10-year plan. Is that what that is? I mean, I thought it was gonna
It
be
said the
pushed up
reason
sooner.
was due to funding constraints. The
course.
project has been delayed.
They
So-
wanted us to participate in that, and we said no.
In funding?
Oh,
Interesting.
We weren't even getting anything out of it.
Yes, we were. We were getting more access to that part of the
I
town.
thought they
yeah.
took that out of the plan.
Well, at the time, but when originally that,
Oh,
and then when we said we weren't interested, that's
Then
when
they
it got
took it
taken
out.
out.
because
Oh.
wasn't the main plan was gonna be build another exit, which was gonna
Yes.
come over Dunbarton Road?
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
way?
saying, into that part of
By the
town for
Manchester
Goffstown, they
dump.
thought that would be, that would help us out and development and all that kind of stuff, and we said,
Yeah.
we're all set.
You know what we're talking about is over
Yeah.
near the Emmiscake Bridge
Yeah,
Road,
yeah, yeah.
interchange.
Yeah.
That plan has been talked about for years.
That whole exit is a mess. And
Oh,
I avoid
it's
it
awful.
every chance.
I
hate that
avoided,
road.
I avoided as much as
I
possible.
never.
Really?
So
I
thank-
don't. I hate that intersection.
Okay, so for the next meeting is what?
So first of all, so
6-4.
you.
So I just have one thing. The planning board is meeting tomorrow night, and
Okay.
we are hearing an application from Aroma Joe's.
Okay.
I love their coffee. And a tree service company that's on Daniel Plummer Road, heading towards the Bedford end.
Oh,
There's a really beautiful old farmhouse down that way, and they did a subdivision in 2023, so they took the back half and they reserved it for their tree business.
that's the
And
one
they're
we're talking
living
about.
in the house in the
Is that the
front.
one we're talking about?
No, she's talking the other side of St. Anne's Drive, down by the landscape.
Yeah, before the
Oh,
landscape
yeah.
place.
Oh, okay.
Like 2 lots, I think, before.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
And the third item on the agenda is the Masonic Temple.
Yeah.
They're looking to divide the main building into 8 apartment units, and then add an addition for 4 additional, so 12 altogether. And some of them will, I think there are 2 bedrooms, and the remainder are 1 bedroom and studios. Some are as small as 400 and something square feet. So they're not very large, but they're looking to market them to, single, younger people that need a space to live, but they don't need a lot of space.
Yeah, I saw the comments of the neighborhood.
There's a
that they
place
had.
in Manchester, I can't think of the name of it, but downstairs is a coffee shop, and then they have apartments upstairs. I can't think of the name of it, but there's quite a few. It's a large building, there's quite a few apartments there. And I was talking to someone who lived there when we were down there having coffee, and I said, what's going on with this place? They were getting a lot of publicity when they first opened. And the woman that lived there said, they were very popular when they first opened, but now the occupancy has dwindled down some, and they're not full like they were before. I mean, I think there was even a waiting list to get in there.
I saw the plan, they did a good job on the plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Well, I know there's, obviously, there's always pushback. I think they were talking about things like, it's gonna be single college students, and they're gonna get, it's gonna get rowdy, and it's gonna get.
That could be anybody, any
Yeah,
place
I know.
else.
So anyways, but, all right, and I'm just curious, where are Roma Joe's?
In the old Rhymes building in Pinardville, next to Jacques Flowers.
Oh, okay.
And they're using the drive-in that's there. That was
Okay.
there from Indian Head Bank.
Oh, okay. All right.
Another coffee shop.
No,
went out.
just what we need.
Hey, don't be the coffee capital of New Hampshire, it's okay.
It's good coffee though.
All right, I'm gonna, action plan for next time, all right, is we're gonna have that list. If we can get it before the next meeting, would be great, so we could all look it over. And maybe some of us already know about certain places that we can get more information about, or work on it. But I think that's gotta be the next step, is to be able to divide that list up to the members and say, okay, this is, and we'll work out what we want for information to come back, so the parameters that we're looking for, as to what size should we cull it down to, where, some of the locations that we're talking about.
I can
think
put
that's-
together like a simple spreadsheet and then send it to you with the categories,
Yeah.
and then send it to you, and in the meantime,
And then
send
I
out the
think this committee should
instructions.
develop some questions if we wanna go out and see these people, get the questions that, what are you looking for, that type of thing, what kind of businesses, and then I think we need to, at the same time, start actually, Dave Pierce is now the chairman of the sewer department,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And
Okay.
so either Dave or Tim, or come in.
Yeah, that's gonna be ongoing as far as bringing, talking to other departments. I think that's gonna be an ongoing,
That's what we asked already, to have him.
I asked, I was gonna say Jacob, I asked, what's his name?
Adam?
Adam Jacobs,
Yeah,
and for tonight, but he was busy.
oh, okay.
So we'll keep him on the list. And then I asked him, and he said he already related Chet, so,
That doesn't matter, we want to talk to them.
yeah.
Yeah. And when they do come in, we've gotta have some questions as to what, what could it lead to? How can they help us?
Yeah.
In our process? And/or, I mean, it can work both ways, but I
Yeah.
think they've gotta understand, I think, sometimes I don't know if people understand what we are trying to do, because there hasn't been a lot that has
Yeah.
come from this, but there are a lot of vehicles that we can use, plus, something that I don't wanna get into it now, but, we have the Amoskeag Industrial Corporation,
Yeah,
and I still know that there's money out there, and this is a little fund that's been in the background for many years. And we had, who was here last year,
Mark.
talked about,
Mark,
and for the
Law-
right reasons,
Lawler.
that's what
Not
that
Mark.
little pot of.
Mike Waller,
Mike Waller.
Lawler, I think that's his name.
So there's some money there that was meant for development in Goffstown.
It was
we can-
formed for, years and years ago, for industrial development. And now they kind of look at
There's a whole
everything.
story behind it.
Yeah.
When we were gonna have the Willebreda Fry plant.
Yeah, that or.
Okay.
So, okay, so we're gonna make spreadsheet list, it's gonna say like, these are the properties, these are how big they are, this is the hookups that they have or don't have.
Well, I think we're gonna, that's what we're
Okay.
gonna be working, we're gonna expand out the list, the basic list that Joanne's gonna get.
Okay.
I think then, Oscar, you can
I can
expand
populate it.
upon that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add our own notations to that as a group,
Okay.
and say, okay, well, these are the properties that we really wanna, trickle down to, if you will, or, zero in on.
So I guess I'm not gonna call this pad site then until I have
Yeah,
that list.
I
Which is
don't, I don't
fine.
wanna discourage.
No, and that's fine,
Yeah.
like, I'm comfortable with that, I guess, and, cause I wanna have that list so that I can know, like, what is it equipped for?
Yeah.
And then, what was I just about to say?
You know the sewer and water there, because they had it at
Right, and they,
Pizza
yeah,
Hut.
they had it, so, whatever I was just about to say is just gone.
So,
Okay, all
but
right.
in the scope of things, there's not that much vacant. If you take it, with Rhymes going now, that was one of the vacant pieces there.
Yeah.
There's nothing vacant
The,
in
the restaurant, White Birch,
White
White
Birch. but the-
Birch, yeah.
And now, they got the pot pie place going in,
Oh, that's right, at Shaking Crab.
Yeah.
Shaking Crab. So White Birch is the only place I know, and Namco, that's still open.
What's on the circle, like, if you're taking Elm Street, there's a convenience store that's vacant.
Oh, you're talking about on back, at Grassmere,
Yeah,
Grassmere General
Oh.
Store.
That's been turned into
yeah,
apartments.
it's apartments now,
Yeah.
what's on the first floor?
Apartments.
apartments.
They've been apartments down there.
Is it,
It didn't-
Is
The
that
first
right?
floor is an apartment, it still says, it still has
Is
like a
that-
lottery sign.
is that,
Oh, that thing's been closed for years.
Yeah, it's been a
There's
couple
not
years.
enough parking there, and
Okay.
there were other
it's a very, I
issues.
mean.
I mean, it's a
I think
vacant space.
I think about it all the time, that,
Yeah,
they
but
used
it's no different to Perry's Poultry Farm, that, when that went
Yeah,
out, and
yeah.
then Mackey's went out, that was,
Yeah, there's just not
that's where I
enough,
grew up, I mean, that
Yeah.
was my place.
there's just not enough
Yeah.
business for somebody to continue
Well,
that.
there was a bear getting in and out of that place.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Really?
The
The
store.
Grassmere
Yeah,
place?
oh, yeah.
So there's
Especially
no
when they
plans
put
to
the
try to
rotary
make that
in,
into
it made
something
it
else,
worse.
or try, like, attempt to? Is to
I don't
just like
know.
let that commercial space,
And not only that, what happened is you had Irving built down the street at the time, because when that place was open, then
Yeah.
Irving moved up the street, right, and they built, and then you put the, was it Z1 on the back
Yeah,
road,
yep, they got the,
you know,
Yeah.
and then, and that's,
They couldn't
Kinda-
compete.
then they can't compete.
right, but but there's not like an attempt to try to turn that into anything else.
Like
One
what?
person came in, and it was an architect who was working for the owner at the time, came in and asked all these questions about what they could do there. And, we told them basically what they could do as far as the zoning allowed and all of that. And then I think they went back and decided the best buck for them was to turn it into apartments, because they weren't making any money as a store, and they couldn't compete for the gas. think they closed the gas.
Oh, the gas has been gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've had it.
They had
yeah.
the
Yeah,
gas
it's been gone a
closed.
long
Yeah,
But it's-
even before the
But it's
store
not
closed.
apartments right now, though.
Oh, this is what I was told. I could always look on the assessing card and see if there's anything about it.
I feel like it still has like a lottery sign.
Yeah,
in
it does. Oh, I ride by it almost every day.
Right, so there's not, that's not an apartment.
Well, you don't know that, you don't know
Well,
what's
I don't-
inside.
I'm wondering if, is there a person who lives in there with a lottery sign?
That's your assignment, go knock on the door and find out.
I don't know. I don't wanna speculate.
Yeah.
In public.
Okay.
But, that, again, I see what you see,
Okay.
and I don't know what is going on, but maybe
It's for
more.
nostalgia
And-
reasons.
And I don't know what the difference is you have to maybe be able to find out when we look at a zoning card, what that zoned as. Is it still commercial? Is it now been
Yeah, yeah.
changed over to residential? And that'll answer your question, if it's been changed to
It has
residential.
been changed over.
How
I
many?
don't know what it was to begin with, but it,
Yeah. Well, I
there
think
haven't
that
been
might
any
have been-
changes.
That might have been, because they lived upstairs. The people who ran the store lived
They lived
upstairs.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago. I mean, this is when I was,
yeah.
back in the
I love a good mixed
60s.
use. I love some mixed use property. I think it's all where
That
it's
was
at.
back in the 60s that,
Well, I've kept you for an hour and 25 minutes here, so I'll take.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Oscar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Have a good
Celtics are
week
on.
and have a good month.